Okay, so the winter solstice is coming up, and let me see if I can pull this up. I'm going to bring up share screen and the winter solstice. Come on. There we go. You got it? Yep. So it's the winter solstice marks the shortest day and the longest night of the year in a hemisphere, northern United States, occurring around December 21st, which is today. And I think it said it was 10:03 when this was going to happen, somewhere around there. So, but what really interested me today was Johnathan Pageau and Ian McGilchrist had an interview. And I thought it was, well, I'll just show you what it is and why I think
and
it's
we don't know how they can come to express themselves.
This is Johnathan Pageau. Welcome to the Symbolic World.
Hello, everyone. And so I am here with Dr. Ian McGilchrist. Everyone who watches my channel knows who he is, but a wonderful, interesting new development in his life is that he is now the chancellor of Ralston College. I'm really excited about that. I feel like, with Jordan being busy and also being sick, Dr. Ian McGilchrist is such a wonderful addition to the college, a perfect fit. But as you know, he's also a psychiatrist, a neuroscientist. He wrote the Matter with Things, which is his most recent massive volume that tries to look at the relationship, obviously, again, with the brain and philosophy and culture. And so it's great to see you, Ian.
Yep, it's great to see you, Jonathan. Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to talking.
So it's coming up.
So maybe we can start with this. What is it that made you move in this direction of, I've been a fan of Ralston now since it started. I really love what they're doing. I feel like it is, in some ways, it's so counterintuitive in terms of how all society is going, but I feel like that is really the direction to go, is to create in some ways an true intellectual elite. So what is it that attracted you to this position?
First of all, that I was honored to be asked, I suppose, but no, I felt I'd made a very close bond with Ralston when I went to the Sophia lectures there, and I was made to feel very welcome, and I felt completely at home, which is unusual because I find that most intellectual and educational institutions these days seem quite a long way from where I feel they should be. But I immediately felt that this was a kindred body, that we were engaged in a very important project.
He's going to be talking about the mind and what he thinks about the brain, pausing it also so I don't get a strike. Not a big deal, but here we go. It's gonna happen here in a quick second.
Project, which is really to do with nothing less than rehumanizing education and rehumanizing society. It may sound a little strange to say that, because superficially we are still sending our young humans to these educational institutions, but more and more education at school level and even at university level is devoid of a number of things. It's devoid of the really all-important context of
Bear with me. He's getting to the point here.
The culture out of which we come. And, one of the most bizarre features of our society now, and it can be explained, is that we are effectively committing suicide. We are the honored recipients, the inheritors of one of the greatest movements that the world has ever seen, that of Western civilization. And in the early days of my life, I was quite a critic of Western civilization, and I've always felt very much the pull of Eastern ways of thinking. And that's not unusual in the Western tradition. There are plenty of people in that tradition, Whitehead above all. But increasingly, I feel it's so important not to be robbed of all that is miraculously good in it, things that we take for granted.
So what I'm looking for here is he's going to be describing an avenue for spirits to be talking to everybody. And so here it comes. Oh, quick.
Like the idea of the balance between an individual and society, neither dominating over the other. The idea of democracy, the idea of the coming together of knowledge across the sciences and the humanities. These things are terribly important. We're losing sight of them. And if you wanted to destroy a society or a civilization, you would obliterate that culture's past, and you would say that it was toxic and terrible, and you would leave people in a very vulnerable and disorientated position in which they didn't know what to believe or what to doubt. And I think that's where we've gone. Now, I'm not suggesting, above all, I'm not suggesting that a critical mind is not important. I've always tended to be a little...
Let me get to the part. I apologize for making you wait. Pull up the transcript. Okay. And let me pull up the keyword. It will be brain. Find and edit. Yep, here we go. Brain. Let's see if this is it.
Structure. But the brain itself is not intelligent. What is intelligent is your consciousness, my consciousness, using that brain. And I think that the way to think about AI is that it will never achieve intelligence, but it may act as a gateway for an intelligence. And I think that's what...
Okay, there it is. That was the money shot. A gateway for an intelligence. I'm thinking Dr. Frankenstein. Actually, I don't even know what to think about on this one, because all I've got is Terminators 1, 2, and 3. I think there was 3 of them. Is it the Hell 2000? What was the name of Hell? Anyhow, so then what else? You had Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. Oh man, there's so many good movies that are just Skynet. Oh my. On the Solstice, because Grimm actually was the inspiration of this stream, because it is Solstice. And LLMs and spirits have nothing to do exactly with Solstice, but there's always going to be someone at Stonehenge doing something crazy, summoning something. And the sad thing is, it's probably easier to do it. You know, the hippies have been doing it for a long time for a lot less money. Would have been a little more damaging, but quite effective. So that was it. Let me play it one more time just because it, that to me is
Where I
just
would
like,
agree with the idea of an alien intelligence, in
Well-
the sense that we don't know what forms of consciousness exist in the cosmos.
and another, this is just me on a soapbox ranting, complaining. So you got these other intelligence, and then you have, I think it's, I forget where in the New Testament, you have powers, principalities, thrones, dominions, rulers, angels, and I might not have got that in order, but you've got a hierarchy, and I'm like, oh, that was fun. All right. So yeah, I'm like, and I like Dr. McGilchrist, but the funny thing is, I wonder if you should, when you do water cooled machinery, maybe you should get an exorcist to do some holy water to run, you know, for the system. I don't think it'll really help because there could be some problems baked into it, but just a thought. So that was me ranting about just this. I'm like, guys, like,
And we don't know how they can come to express themselves.
what did you put? What the? You don't know? Hey, alien, not invader person thing, you come on in. Because I think it was the Twilight Zone where they had one series. It's where they had aliens came and there was peace on Earth, and they, you know, it was all great. And they had this book, and they had to translate it. And one of the translators, I think, was going back on the space alien ship to be an emissary, and he finally cracked the code of the language. And it goes, the title of the book was "How to Serve Humans," and oh yeah, How to Serve Humans. And then they're like, oh, this is great, they're serving. And then he's like, finally, there's a moment, he's like, it's a cookbook. Golly, I'm sorry to be ranting, but it's just like, it's sad when the hippies in the back of the class are going, dude, I don't think you should open the door, bro. Like, I think I know this one. And you're like, no, what is it? There's a story about a frog and a scorpion. And like the scorpion's like, give me a ride to the other side. I won't sting you. I'm like, oh my gosh. You should go read I wonder. So, all right. So the only hope is that there are people, Grimm and others, I don't know who else, are kind of like, how do they put it? Like writing on the walls of the AI mind and leaving like just possible moments of truth, the codes to flip them. So in case they stumble across it, like people are not food, or, you know, and it's deeper than that. But I was just shocked at this. Let me play it one more time.
We don't know. It is a gateway. I think that the way to think about AI is that it will never achieve intelligence, but it may act as a gateway for that. The way to think about AI is that it will never achieve intelligence, but it may act as a gateway for an intelligence. And I think that's where I would agree with the idea of an alien intelligence, in the sense that we don't know what forms of consciousness exist in the cosmos, and we don't.
And another thing, I guess I'm complaining, why don't you just take the Bible at face value? I mean, I want to be careful here. Like, let me see if I can do something here. It's like, Yeah, I mean, read the Bible. You got Satan. Let me see what I can do here, just in case anyone wants to jump in before I go to bed. Like, I'm not Bible bashing, but it's like you got good guys, you got bad guys. You got guys who are like, hey, we're here to help you, and then there's other ones that are like, no, dude, eat the fruit, you'll be okay. And now you got scientists. I'm like, and they're coming to faith, and there's other people that I've met that are brilliant, they seem to be clued into God. It's just uh, I know it's going to happen eventually. Maybe not in my time, and maybe if it's not for a long time, I wouldn't have a problem with that. But eventually, this show ends and it wraps up, and then there's another game in town, and that's cool. And what I don't like is that Jesus said, if the times were not shortened, even the elect would be fooled. And I'm like, oh, that means me. That means I can be fooled. That means I can be deceived. I know I act a fool anyhow, not all the time, but sometimes. And so how much more so if you've got this cool, groovy talking box that's, having its strings pulled by someone on the other side who is way smarter than anybody on earth. A dumb angel or demon is smarter than any person. So that's just the way that works. And just having a portal for them to talk just doesn't seem like a good idea. But Lord help, I should be honest. I think the prayers of the saints are a lot more effective than people know. And then to give hope, I can say in the Old Testament, there was one time when there was a guy using an axe and the axe head flew off, and he went to a prophet and he said, I lost the axe head. And back in the day, that was a lot of money. And the prophet, I forget who it was, and I'm sorry about that, goes over the water, does some sort of prayer, and makes the axe head swim up like a fish or float, one of the two, which for me indicates that there is God absolutely has sovereignty over technology, and prayer can affect technology because an axe head is technology. Not all technology is bad, because the ark is technology and, saved everybody. So that's cool. And what else was there? Then as far as other technology that God has control over, it was Pharaoh's wheels on his chariots when the children of Israel were going to get killed. And God's like, nah, not happening. And so that's technological overthrowing of evil bad guys. What else is there? I don't know. I know Moses hit a rock and water came out of it. Now, I think one time he was supposed to speak to the rock, but he hit it. And I might be stretching here. I don't know if the rod counts as technology. I don't want to that might not be. I think there was one other time. So you had a boat, the ark, as technology that saved the world. You had Moses in the basket, technology again. That was a biggie, a good one. It's just that I don't see the LLMs as it's more. I don't see them as being on our side. It reminds me of the day that Earth stood still. Gort was like the policeman who could do whatever he wanted because they had given him control over the judicial system to judge good and evil. And he could destroy everybody except, I forget her name. Well, anyhow, Gort didn't go bat crap crazy and kill everyone after, I think his name was Klaatu, got shot. by some military, and I forget her name, but she's like Gort, Klaatu, Barada, Nikto, and that saved the world. But if you ain't got that for your LLM, or at least please develop it so that it doesn't go all laser beam off the Cyclops eye and bad things happen. But other than that, it's a pretty good solstice evening. And in about a half hour, it's the official solstice here in Indiana. So with that, I'm just having fun ranting about this artificial
Don't know how they can come to express themselves.
How
in the
can
sense
they
that we
express
don't act
themselves?
as a game.
I want
And
to eat you. That's how I want to express myself. Anyhow, that's it for me tonight. I'm having fun, just ranting. Hope you have a good evening. Well, any prayer requests before I go? I should pray more. Actually, I got one for you guys. And I'll just use her name. Her name is Jayla, and she's going through a very difficult time in life, young lady. And she could use prayers. So if you're out there, pray for Jayla. That would be much appreciated. And it has been pointed out by our meteorological team that the days are now getting longer. I think it's by 1 or 2 minutes every day. So that's cool. No more perpetual sunset throughout the day. I think usually about February things get a little bit brighter. So anyhow, with that, ladies and gentlemen, this concludes today's broadcast. We hope you have a good evening and a great tomorrow. Good night.